Yes, here we are. And no, folks, you are not seeing things. It is not only just Hank Indictor and myself, but we also have the guys from Empty the Bench here, Nick Morgasen, Tom Albano, and Nick Fodera. Guys, welcome. How are y'all doing?
Doing well, doing well. Little early edition of Football Friday. Good to be on here. I guess kind of appropriate. This is a little bit Friendsgiving sports version. Thanksgiving is tomorrow.
Just don't invite Zach Wilson. He's inactive.
Yes, we don't know what the Zach Wilson jokes we're gonna make.
Yeah, QB changes up the wazoo this week.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of stuff as we look forward here to a great football weekend, not only in college, but definitely here in the pros. And yes, folks, we are doing a little bit of a crossover here with Empty the Bench. So they do their rapid rundown. We do our Football Friday. So we call this, maybe we'll just call this a football rundown of sorts here. So those guys will give their picks and they'll have their locks, their special segments. Hank and I will give our picks. Of course, we're going to have a lot of fun here as we get you ready for a Thanksgiving football weekend. And the guys will give their records as we go along here. But we come off a week last week where I went 8-5-1 and Hank went 6-7-1. He's still neck and neck, just 4 games behind me here as we have just a few weeks to go. But guys, a lot of interesting games. We have a lot of high point spreads. And as Tom had just mentioned, we do have a number of quarterback changes in the works here. So you all ready to do this thing?
Yes.
Hey! Let's go.
All right, let's do this thing. And yes, everybody's playing this weekend, so we got all the teams in action, and we get it going on Thanksgiving afternoon over there at Ford Field in Detroit. And we get it going, guys, with a Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson special on CBS as the Buffalo Bills take on the Detroit Lions. And let's start up there with Nick Morgasen. Nick, the Bills laying 9.5 on the road.
So you think the Bills got comfy because this is their second straight game in Detroit? I mean, they must be comfortable by now. Maybe they found their comfort zone. They found the right food. At least there's no snow. The 6 feet of snow they had to avoid. Yeah, I mean, even though the Lions beat the Giants, that doesn't really tell me much. That doesn't change the story for me. Take the money on this one. The Bills are good. I know Josh Allen has been a little bit hurt and nicked up here and there, but they're still a good team. Take the money.
I will second that in taking the money. I would be, if it wasn't for the fact that Allen is hurt and the Bills have come off a couple of iffy weeks, I would have been tempted to make this one, my lock. I would have locked right away. However, I will resist this time because of the condition of Allen. But yeah, I mean, not too much to really consider in this one. Yeah, the Lions have played pretty well over the past few weeks. However, the Bills are still in contention, still arguably one of, if not the best team in the NFL right now. Still got Stephon Diggs, still got a bunch of good weapons on that team. I say take the money.
Now, I don't mean to start off doing, courting controversy, let's say, but I am going to take the Bills over the Lions. However, I think 9.5 is a little too high. I do not think that the Bills will cover that spread because, and let me explain, the Lions did show a lot of life last year, last week. Sorry, I don't know what time is anymore. So I get a feeling the Lions are gonna buck tradition with the Thanksgiving game and come out swinging, but I do think the Bills will be the ones left standing in the end.
We'll get to Hanks in just a moment here. Yeah, if you watched that game last week there in Detroit, you saw Josh Allen second half look like he was getting back to his old self there. Maybe he got over the injury and stuff, but I think that's going to continue against this Lions pass defense. I think it's only going to continue, but the Lions can score too, guys. I mean, if you look at it, they're looking for their third straight game with 30-plus points, which would be their longest single-season streak since 1997, so they can score, but the Bills can really score. I'm going to take them to win and cover here in game number 1.
All right, so we got pretty much a sweep for the Bills. However, Nick Fodera, the one no cover in this scenario.
I am going to take the Buffalo Bills to win, but I think the Lions will make things very interesting. So I'm going to take Lions to cover, Bills winning. How about that?
Hermano!
So we got a 5-0 for the Bills, in terms of picking a winner, but we got a 3-2 split for the cover. Interesting. The room is split.
Absolutely. Yep. So that's what we look like here in game number 1. It's Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olson, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi on Fox as the New York Football Giants travel down to Big D and take on Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, Tom Albano, laying 10 points at home.
So I understand probably why the line is that big, because the Giants are quite banged up. I mean, we talked about Daniel Jones not having any receivers before. Well, this is now a new case. We already had no Sterling Shepard. We already had lost Kadarius Toney in that trade, even though he was nothing. Kenny Galladay, I mean, a rock could probably catch better than Kenny Galladay at this point. And now, no Wan'Dale Robinson for the rest of the year. So you have Darius Slayton, and I mean, Richie James is concussed, and I know people don't trust him anymore after him losing the punting job. So I understand why the line is long. And yeah, as much as I want the Giants to win on Thanksgiving, I do expect it's probably going to be the Cowboys to win. But I will create a little hope, like Nick Fodera did go a little crazy. I'll say Cowboys, but no cover.
Nick Fodera?
I will agree with my co-host, Mr. Tom Albano, because honestly, you're right. Danny doesn't really have anybody to throw to, and if you didn't think you needed Odell Beckham Jr. to come back riding in on a white horse like the end of Lord of the Rings, then you do now. But that's not going to happen until after this game. But what this game is the first real, honest-to-God test that this team has had. And although beating the Packers really doesn't amount for much anymore because, the Packers suck, but they're going to have to play their best football of the year. And I think it can be done. But with the personnel that are going to be on the field on Wednesday, I don't know, which is why I got to take the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, just to add something here, the Giants were competitive last time against the Cowboys when they competed in Week 3 and MetLife. And I'll add to what you say about tests, Nick. This is the first of 4 consecutive weeks about tests. This is the first of 4 consecutive weeks where the Giants are going to be playing divisional football. This is the time where, your 7 wins. I know we talked about earlier in the preseason special I did with you, Johnny, and you, Nick Morgasen, about, if the Giants get off to a good start, if they go up to 500, are they going to get to expectations? Are the expectations too unreasonable? But the thing is, now that you got 7 wins, I mean, if you can't rattle off a couple more wins and get yourself into the playoff contention and just have a collapse, I mean, it's going to be seen as a collapse, and it is going to be seen as a disappointment.
I think the one thing I would say with that, though, to counter would be if you look at the Giants here the rest of the way, their strength of schedule is one of, if not the toughest down the stretch here. Do you realize that the combined winning percentage of their opponents down the stretch here is 678?
But that credit that is part of that is the Vikings being a one-loss team. And it also is the fact that the NFC East over the last couple of years has gone from one of the worst divisions in football quickly to one of the best divisions in football, that the NFC East and the AFC East for that matter.
I mean, by the way, ironically, getting beat to shreds by the Cowboys, the Vikings this past week. But
oh yeah, so two-loss team.
No, but my point is, like Nick was bringing it up before the show, like, do week by week matter in these spreads? And I'm like, no, I think it's more of what the Vegas thinks of these teams, and that's why some of these lines are so high. Originally, when I looked at this, I said I thought this line was quite high because, again, the Cowboys are damned if they do, damned if they don't. Whether you had Cooper Rush or you had Dak Prescott, whether you had your wide receivers, I think one of their wide receivers was injured also. I can't remember off the top of my head over the last couple of weeks. But after all of what you said and looking at this game, I don't know what to make of the Giants. Like, they lost to the Lions. We all agree it was a trap game, right? That the Lions game was one of those games where if they lost it, we weren't surprised. So I guess in this case, I'm going to be the one that takes the cover on this one for the Cowboys.
So you're taking okay. Yeah, see, I look at this, and I think one of the reasons you look at why the line is so high, one of the reasons is look at all the injuries the Giants have right now. I mean, they're down 4 offensive linemen. I mean, against this defense, that's going to be a big problem here. And also, I mean, Dak Prescott's history here against the Giants is also very, very good. One of the things, the Giants have been like the underdog a lot this year, but they for the most part they've been healthy. But that's a problem here. Now you go down to Big D. I mean, I think this is a very, very challenging test here. This almost seems like Vegas is begging you to take the Giants, so I'm not going to do it though. I think Dallas wins this one by, I'd say 13 points possibly or more. Give me Dallas minus 10 here. And again, hopefully I'm wrong. I mean, last week I did pick the Lions to win outright in an upset special, and they did. But I think the injuries are going to start to haunt the Giants here. I'm taking Dallas to win and cover down there in Big D. Hank?
As much as I want to say the Giants will at least cover, I'd be lying if I told you that I'm optimistic. And the reason being is because the Giants are just way too depleted at injury. I would argue that losing Adoree Jackson was the biggest loss that came from that loss in Detroit, especially when you look at who the Cowboys have at receiver. And by the way, I'm going to say this too. As much as I've praised Brian Daboll all year for the great job he's done, that is one area where you have every single right to criticize him, because putting Jackson in that spot was very dangerous. And it's almost as bad as Jim Fossil's decision to put Jason Sehorn in at punt return in '98.
I do agree. And I think, it does express, however, a problem with this Giants team in that there really is no receiving depth at this stage. Then they are going to need in the offseason, regardless of if they collapse and miss the playoffs, if they get out in the wild card game, if they somehow make a deep, underdog style run, the mission of the offseason, at this point, it's now a mission more than even what the hell Danny Jones's future is you need to build up on the wide receiver core. You need receivers.
You have to give him credit on some front. By the way, I will refute Nick's point every single time he brings it up. Odell Beckham Jr. is a 0% chance for the Giants. 0%.
You say that because
it is the Odell Beckham Bowl. You could
He's
say
not going to
be.
First of all, he doesn't want to be a Giant anymore. Okay, that's for a fact. He does not want to be in that uniform anymore. He either is going to end up with the Niners. The Rams are now out because they're not a competitive team. I think he could end up with the Niners. That would be a heck of a pickup if he ended up in a Niners uniform.
Well, we'll see. I mean, this could be the Odell Beckham Jr. Bowl as well down there in Dallas on Thanksgiving afternoon. But I think we're all kind of in agreement here that we think Dallas is going to win here down in Dallas. Nick Fodera, it's a Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, Jason Garrett, Melissa Stark special on NBC as the New England Patriots go to Minnesota to take on the Vikings, coming off their 40-3 loss at the hands of those aforementioned Cowboys earlier. And the Vikings are 2.5-point favorites.
So this is going to be one where I'm not going to court controversy because I am a pessimist as a Giants fan, but as someone who has a let's say familial connection with the Vikings, I tend to be more of an optimist, a skull horn, a half full kind of guy. But
How about Stein?
I would like beer stein half full. So I would like to think that last week's performance, or lack of a performance, because what the hell was that? But I would like to think that was an aberration, and the Patriots now are not the Patriots of yore. So I'm going to go ahead and take the money.
Interesting.
So let's see here. New England's offense struggling, defense very, very well. I mean, Nick, you know that, but I think the Vikings do have it. Their offense will bounce back, and I like their offense in this one. But you know what we have to do, right? We have to do the Kirk Cousins checklist. Primetime game, yep.
Oops.
Nationally televised game, yep. But you know what? We're going to be in too much of a food coma by this time to even realize that. So you know what? Give me the Vikings to win and cover there in Minnesota on Thanksgiving night.
I'm pretty much with you guys. I have the Minnesota Vikings winning this game. And yeah, Bill Belichick can only win so many games for a Patriots squad that really isn't that great roster-wise.
I mean, you won a game by luck last week, all on a kick return. Well, we'll get to my anger when that game comes up. But my point is that the Patriots are not the team they once were. I mean, we all know Tom Brady wore the pants on that in that relationship when he was with that team. But the Vikings, I think it was just a bad week. I don't know what's going on with Justin Jefferson. Like, he's either having a really good week or a really bad week. Like, he's supposed to be your top wide receiver. I would say him and Diggs are the top 2 receivers in the NFL. And so far, we're not getting the best performances out of Justin Jefferson. If you were even getting 60 or 70% of Justin Jefferson, I think they'd be undefeated this year, in my opinion. So
That is a bold statement.
Oof.
are you telling me that if he wasn't playing up to standard, they wouldn't win every game they play?
I agree with you. It's just, it's a bold statement. Those words, is it possible to use them in a sentence like that?
I just did.
Is it Justin
Just did.
Is it Justin Jefferson not playing up to standard, or is it sometimes he either has too many guys on him, or Kirk Cousins just has a bad day when that stuff happens?
It's the TO effect. It's a lot of drops, in my opinion. He's been open a lot, and he's not making the catches. He's trying to run without the football a lot of times.
Well, you know what's crazy? They're 8-2, the Vikings, and they have a minus point differential for the season.
See, that's the bizarre stat. I don't understand that stat. Like, how are you? Usually, when you have a minus differential, you're not 8-2.
Well,
But they also have a good defense.
Would you?
Not great. Good.
this will be good. We'll see if they bounce back here this week. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings, I know they got embarrassed last week, but this is going to be one of those games. I know it's Kirk Cousins prime time, but I think a few of those Vikings are going to have, that fire under them of, yeah, we got embarrassed, but here we are on national television, Thanksgiving, big game. We're going to want to come out and win. And yeah, kind of like what Hank and Johnny, what you guys are talking about. I mean, this Pats team is just not good. I know that they have their moments, but they're not good. Mac Jones has, and you guys know how Nick, you guys know how much I liked Mac Jones, and I was high on him. He has regressed.
He's been hurt
in a bad way. He's been hurt. I can't see it. This one, you got to take the money on this one. If I can't have the Giants, I got to at least have the Vikings on this.
Yeah, one. I mean, I'm with them. I would take the money just because the Patriots scare me, and that's not just me being a Jet fan.
Real quick, I would say the Pats. Don't sleep on the Pats defense, though. That Pats defense is still very, very good. And the thing, though, I would feel comfortable, and one of the reasons why I did take Minnesota was they're only laying 2.5. So even if it comes down to a field goal, you know what? They win and cover. That's the play here on Thanksgiving night.
Hey, Johnny, can I steal your thunder for a second? Because I see what game is going to kick off our Sunday 1:00 discussion. I need to bring in a segment. I need to bring in a segment that I do every week with these guys.
Well, wait.
This team starts to play.
Well, wait. You're talking about this game?
Oh, yes, that game. Ride, boys. Ride into the
Let's
Sunday
ride.
games.
There it is. Yep. So the Denver Broncos 2-point favorites at Carolina. Russell Wilson against Sam Darnold. And Tom, I'll give you the since you want to start it, I'll give you the floor here. It's a Chris Myers, Robert Smith, and Jen Hale special on Fox. What do you think?
You lost. You blew a fourth-quarter lead to the Raiders, who, if you're going to put the football math in, just lost the previous week to Jeff Saturday and the Colts. A Jeff Saturday who had not coached above the high school level in football. I think that is just an emblem of how disastrous this season has gone with the Broncos. And I'm very glad actually you started with me because guess what? We have one of our quarterback changes this week. So Baker Mayfield. So we've had this whole thing, PJ Walker starting a couple of games and then Baker Mayfield came in. Well, this week, the starting quarterback, I'm looking at a certain Knicks reaction, is Sam Darnold.
What the f?
Sam Darnold. They have fully, I would say, Carolina has fully embraced the tank. Here's what I'm going to say. If they can't get this 2-point line, if they only win by 1 against the Panthers, or they somehow lose against this Panthers team, Nathaniel Hackett better be fired next day.
Well, I'm going to steal.
I will say take the money. Sorry, Nick. I will say take the money, But man, I would stay far away from betting on this game. I would watch just for the misery if the Broncos lose.
I'm going to steal a Hank line. This is all about the hack in this situation, okay? I mean, this is about me as Jets PSD going on here with Sam Darnold somehow getting the start over who? Baker Mayfield? Really?
Can I throw you another scenario and piggyback off what Tom said?
Yeah.
What if after this game they give Nathaniel Hackett the treatment the way that Steve Martin had to get home from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is Thanksgiving. He has to like take a cab and fly his way home, but then may take a while, but instead of John Candy, he gets stuck with Joe Pesci.
Oh!
How many times I gotta tell you, you gotta throw the motherfucking ball. I got the play.
So Tom's taking the Broncos. Nick, you're taking the Broncos. Morgasen.
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos.
And Hank.
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos.
Nick Fodera, go for it.
Here's the thing. I'll take the money, but if they lose, I am never picking them again.
Wait a minute. I'm holding you to that.
I was gonna ask. Let me throw a scenario. Even if they were playing the Texans and they were a 7-point favorite,
never.
I'm holding you to that.
They may never be a 7-point favorite against the Texans the way they've been.
By the way, I'm gonna pull that like a classic rewind clip you hear on a radio show. I'm gonna pull that, put that to the side to remind you.
Sorry, Johnny. Yeah, because Nick Morgasen, you're very familiar with that when you said Max Scherzer will never sign with the New York.
Well, with the Mets, I said specifically.
Mets, yeah.
I'm going to beat Nick Fodera too because last week I took the Broncos to win and cover against the Raiders, and that just bit me. The one thing I'd say I feel comfortable with is the Denver defense, but guys, I said that last week, and look what happened. And this game now at home for Carolina.
Johnny, are you going to do what I think you're going to do?
I'm going to say it. Sam Darnold, I'm more comfortable. Sam Darnold by accident is going to be better than Baker Mayfield was last week. Baker barely threw for 100 yards last week, guys. I mean,
wait. Did you just say Sam Darnold's going to win?
Upset special. The Panthers will win this game outright over the Denver Broncos.
Wait.
Yes. I'm done picking Denver. I picked them last week and they failed me again.
Oh my God.
And Sam Darnold will play better than Baker Mayfield. Maybe that's not a tall order, guys, because Baker's been one of the worst quarterbacks in football this year. So it's maybe not asking a tall order, but I'm going to do it. So give me the Panthers upset special. And yes, unfortunately, we don't have a Germany game, so we cannot use that graphic. But you know what? We will have more Germany. But according to Goodell, we will have more Germany games in the future, and we may even have a game in France, so we will have more graphics. So Panthers upset special. That's what I'm going with down in Carolina. Hank, it's a Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, Shannon.
I'm taking the Broncos, by the way.
Oh yeah.
4 Broncos, 1 Panther. I will be I will go different than the guys.
The lone wolf.
Yes, the lone wolf in Carolina. Hank, it's a Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Shannon Spake special on Fox as Tom Brady's Buccaneers come off the bye week, go to Cleveland to take on, possibly for the last time this season, Jacoby Brissett and the Cleveland Browns and the Buccaneers. Excuse me, got Denver all over my mind here. The Bucs are 3.5-point road favorites.
And I will take that 3.5-point spread. Give me the Buccaneers, and you could probably make the argument that the spread could be a little bit higher, but yeah, give me the Bucs.
Nick Morgasen, go for it.
I mean, this kind of reminds me of the Browns Dolphins game from last week, where they completely just kept lowering the line, like begging you to take the Browns. Yeah, the Browns are a dumpster fire and getting worse. Even though Tom Brady and the Bucs have not been great. Let's not say they've been playing like Super Bowl champs. All right, but I'm going to say take the money.
I will add, however, Nick, they have won a few in a row. Tom Brady is undefeated ever since the divorce has been finalized.
That's not saying much.
I know it's not saying much, and I mean they're playing the Browns. It's not saying much. You're right. By the way, this seems like it will be the last week because next week is supposed to be the week that good old Deshaun Watson finally makes his Cleveland debut. So I'm gonna give the Cleveland fans a treat. And you know what? It'll be a make good for Brady since he got divorced. A little treat since Jacoby Brissett is going away. Lock it
Whoa!
in. Bucks over Browns. Bucks over Browns.
Okay.
That's
There we
Buccaneers.
go.
I can't. The Browns are so bad. I know the Buccaneers aren't great, but you know what? At least they're winning. At least they're top of the division.
The Browns is the Browns, as Mike Tomlin said.
Exactly.
Just wait till the circus starts.
Oh God. So that means I'm up, right?
You're up.
Yeah.
Yep, go for it.
So you know what the best part of Thanksgiving is?
What?
Seconds.
Oh!
By the way,
Lock it in.
I'm going to be the different one this week, and it's not going to be a game you expect.
Oh no.
Interesting. All right. So I guess it's for me to be different again this week, huh? I mean, in this game. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. I wouldn't do a lock on the Buccaneers because I've taken the Bucs plenty of times this year and they have not covered. But I will say though, you know, they're coming off their bye week. They're getting healthier, and if you're in the NFC South, you had a chance to bury Tom Brady and the Bucs early on in the season, and you know what? You didn't do it. He's just like the Undertaker. He comes back, and you know what? Now, this looks like that they're going to get their season going now, coming off the bye week, and the Browns are so bad on defense that I think Tom Brady's going to have a very solid day here. The running game for the Browns, I mean, it's good, but now it's starting to get limited. And the only thing I would say I would watch from the Browns side, I'm going to take the Bucs, by the way, to win and cover. I know that hook's it's a little scary, but the one thing I'll say with the Browns I'm going to watch here is Brissett, because this is his last game before Watson comes back. I'd be very curious to see if maybe he goes out strong here, but the Bucs defense has always been good. I think it continues here, and I think the Bucs are going to find a way to get it rolling now. You had a chance there in the NFC South, and you didn't do it. Tampa Bay wins and covers, a clean sweep here for us in Cleveland.
Wait a minute. Are you saying he's going to take some whacks? Is that what you were saying when you were saying about the whole Undertaker thing?
Well, no, I was saying that he was coming back. He's back. You know, yeah. But yeah, no. So clean sweep for us here, as the Bucs will win and cover against the Browns. It's Andrew Kettelon, James Lofton, and Amanda Renner on CBS as the Baltimore Ravens travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, and Nick Morgasen, the Ravens, 3.5-point road favorites.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Jaguars. Like we say the Browns, it's the Jaguars. I mean, it's not been a good year for them. But let's be careful, though, because the Ravens play like a really good team one week, and then they play like a shitty team another week. So I don't know which way to lean. First of all, this spread should be a lot higher. If the Ravens were healthy and playing the way they should, this should be like a 7 or 8 point spread, to be honest. But I'm going to take the Ravens just because the Jaguars are a bad team. That's as simple as it is. Take the money.
I think you nailed it right there with what you said, though, Nick. That's why the line is as low as it is. The inconsistency of the Ravens' offense.
Yeah.
Correct, but I also think that, like you said, the Jags are going to be the Jags, and even when they play bad, like they only won 13-3 last week against Carolina, I mean, they still looked, they still blew their opponent out of the water. This is an easy choice for me. Take the money.
Nick, what do you think?
Flip a coin.
What the hell am I doing? Ravens.
Well, I mean, that hook, though, I mean, Ravens could be 13-10. That'd be the one thing. Yeah, the Ravens' offense might be a little inconsistent, but their defense is still very, very strong here. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have some problems against this Raven defense. The hook scares me, but I'm going to take Baltimore to win and cover in Jacksonville.
I'm low-key surprised that the spread isn't higher, but I'm going to take the Ravens.
So a clean sweep for all of us. Speaking of high spreads, Tom Albano, it's a Spiro Ditas, Jay Feely, a Didi Kinkobella special on CBS as Kyle Allen and the Houston Texans travel to Miami to take on Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins. and the Dolphins, not a typo, a 13.5-point home favorite.
And you know what's the sad part? Usually I don't go for these kinds of lines, but this one I have very little to no hesitation in saying take the money. I mean, it's Tua. Tua has been evolving as a quarterback. Now that he has a guy like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle's coming along, he's got some great weapons around him. And that Dolphins team, will they up the Bills? I don't know. Currently they are. Currently they are a first place team in the division. However, I don't know if that's going to be, for the whole way, but regardless, they look great. They're going to come into the playoffs with, some momentum to them. And the fact that Allen's in, I mean, the Texans, let's just face it, the Texans have their one win of the year. Don't they have one win and one tie? I think they're just going to take those into the offseason. So take the money, even with that line.
Nick Fodera.
What he said.
That's it? That's all you got to say?
What he said, yeah.
I mean, this game is a mismatch, and that's being nice. I could say a whole heck of a lot more, but I'm not going to.
That's why they have the announce team that they do. Not disrespect to that announce team, but obviously that's not the A-level announce team, and that's not the A-level game.
I don't know how the announcers. Johnny and I talked about this. The announcers are not necessarily determined by the rank of teams, because we saw Nance and Romo calling a game that was not even an A game, if you remember. So we don't know how they determine the teams, but I don't know. This gives a mismatch, and when you have to switch quarterbacks, that means your team is in trouble. I'm with you, Tom. I agree. The line is big. When you have essentially a 2-touchdown line, that's dangerous in Vegas gambling odds. But in this case, it's such a mismatch that I would take the money.
Oof. I'm going to take the Texans upset special. No, I'm kidding. Give me the Dolphins.
I was gonna request a drug test at that point.
Dolphins offense is putting up numbers at an unbelievable rate. I think this has like 38-10 or something like that written all over it. The only question is, how do the Texans get to 10? Give me the Dolphins to win and cover down there in Miami. Not really much else to say. Well, Nick Morgasen, I'm going to go to you here as the Chicago Bears travel to MetLife Stadium to take on Mike White and the New York Jets. And Nick, this has been the mystery that I've kept you in for quite some time, so let me get it out of the way. It is, in fact, a Joe Davis, Daryl Moose Johnston, Pam Oliver special over there on Fox, and the Jets 4.5-point favorites.
What? What? Oh, my God. That's not who I was expecting you to say.
Nick Morgasen is upset because Mark Sanchez is not calling this game.
I wanted Mark Sanchez to call this game. It would have been the anniversary of the butt fumble. Come on.
You want Mark Sanchez to start in this game. That's the thing.
Well, I just want to see me eat a hot dog on camera.
Well, you know what? Nick Morgasen, you finally got your wish. So, as mentioned, Mike White, after his couple of impressive performances last year, is back. Not only that, but it was announced today, of course, before our broadcast of Empty the Bench even goes on, that Robert Saleh has announced to the media that Zach Wilson will not only not start, he will be inactive. He will be a healthy scratch. The quarterback number 2 will be Joe Flacco. Yes, Zach Wilson is under Joe Flacco and Mike White in the depth chart.
I mean, I could make a lot of jokes. First, I'll do this. I mean, the only reason that he's being treated and even still on this roster is because he was a second overall pick. I mean, that's the only reason why we're still talking about Zach Wilson. If he was 15th or 20th, we're probably not talking about him anymore.
Now, something that also needs to be said, this is quarterback replacement versus potential quarterback replacement, as we have had an injury with Justin Fields, of course. Now, he did practice recently. It seemed like he might start. However, that's not technically, that's not official. So there is a chance that we will go into this game with Mike White versus Trevor Siemian.
By the way, I do have a small surprise that I planned for this. Cue the circus music, and don't put anything up because I have a little surprise here.
Okay.
Yes! Jets Nation, take flight. Except there is going to be no taking flight, because guess what? My lock is an upset of the Bears.
Oh, my God.
Ooh, shots fired.
So, yes, my lock is an upset, +4 or +4.5 against the Jets. This is a trap game, and they are going to fall hard with all the turmoil that's going on in the locker room right now.
Even with the Mike White replacement?
I don't care. This locker room is in shreds. I don't even care that it's Justin Fields. You know my opinions on Justin Fields, and I don't like him. But the Bears, believe it or not, I think are the better team this week against the Jets. So I'm taking an upset special.
Are we sure that today's not April 1st?
Wow. No, I
so
see
Nick's
Christmas
got
decorations around.
I don't even know how to follow
turkeys everywhere. I don't know how to follow that either.
Because I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't care who's starting at quarterback for the Jets or who's starting at quarterback for the Bears. The biggest mismatch in this game is the Bears defense against the Jets defense. I mean, it's not even close. I'll be honest with you. This would almost be one of my locks of the week is the Jets minus the 4.5. It's not going to be my lock, but I'm taking the Jets to win and cover here because I also think they're angry off last week against the Patriots. And I think this is one of their more favorable games remaining on the schedule this season. So the Jets win and cover is my play.
I will agree with Johnny. I will say Jets do win this game, but in spite of their quarterbacks, not because of them. It's going to be because of that defense that could, on any other team, potentially take a team to a conference championship, if not a Super Bowl.
Well, right. I said that to you guys,
Correct.
that they're a Super Bowl winning defense, that they could totally carry this team, but you don't, in today's NFL, you don't win by defense. You win by your quarterback.
Let me add my caveat. If the Jets do lose to the Bears, now we already had said on ETB that if he had lost to the Bears with Zach Wilson starting as the quarterback, this would have been it for Zach Wilson.
His job would have been toast if he had lost.
But now that you have gone to Mike White and you've gone to, I'll say maybe even eventually the playoff experience. Yes, even I have to say it, even though it feels weird, the playoff experience of Joe Flacco. I mean, if you lose to the Bears this week, your season, after starting off so well, your season's in trouble.
It's a bad look. I mean, the way this team is going, it looked bad what Zach Wilson did on the post-game press conference after he went in and said, oh, did you let the defense down? No and no. Well, what did you expect was going to happen? Tom, you said this. In front of the New York media, you're going to try and pull that stunt? What are you thinking?
So, I mean, he's lost the meat. Zach Wilson, remember, guys, when everyone was having a laugh at Zach Wilson being, the Cougar hunter during the offseason? And now everybody has just completely turned against him because of his play or because of the comments. It's like we always talk about, Johnny Hank, I made mention to Nick and Nick. We always talk about a coach losing the locker room. In this case, it's a quarterback who's lost the locker room.
Yeah. It is amazing. But
Johnny, I'll give you one more caveat. Saleh came out a couple weeks ago and said that Zach Wilson, barring injury, was going to be the starter for the rest of the year. Oops.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. But I kind of wonder also with the Jets still in playoff contention too, if how much that actually did factor into this decision that he made on Wednesday.
He can't throw the football. That's the problem. He can't.
Yeah.
On 3rd and 17 on their side of the field, they didn't even attempt to throw the football. They ran it up the middle for 2.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting. I don't know. I mean, you already hear some rumors about how the Jets should be going after a big name quarterback in the offseason. I don't know. But Nick Fodera, what do you think?
So, me being Italian, you really need to always stir the pot. So, make sure you stir the pot of gravy. So, stirring the pot of controversy, I'm going to say that the Jets are going to win, and it's going to be a controversy between Mike White, Robert Saleh, and Zach Wilson. So, dance, puppets, dance!
I think
Nick, that's exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Wow.
Alike, Hank.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because
Damn.
it would be so
this is what Nick Morgasen has wanted
for them to win with Mike White and then have a quarterback controversy. And Nick Morgasen, that is.
Yeah, that's
I
what he
told
wanted.
you up until this thing that if they benched Wilson, that's the risk they run. And look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Robert Saleh made the wrong decision. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you see what I warned you. When you get a quarterback controversy, then you have two quarterbacks. And you know what they say about having two quarterbacks? It means you have zero quarterbacks. And look, you know what's going to really hurt? He's going to have this good performance, and then you're going to hear about the possibility the Jets could end up giving up on him after 20-something starts. He's going to succeed elsewhere.
Oh, you mean what Jets Twitter would do? Oh, Mike White at 300 yards. Start him. Cut Zach Wilson. Oh, wait, I've been saying that. My point is that
chaos.
But
Reigns supreme, the urinating tree would say.
But they're all going to say, start Mike White if he throws for 300 yards. Let's calm down. I just say they needed to bench him at this point because he's not playing up to his pick value. That's all I was saying.
Right. But again, I thought that beforehand because I didn't think you'd want to bench a quarterback like so soon. However, in this case, maybe I need to rethink that only because of the way he handled himself.
And also, he has no backup. So when he got hurt, he got his job back right away. There's no competition up against him. So in his mind, I'm not fighting for a starting job. It's my job.
Well, we'll see what happens over there at MetLife on Sunday between the Bears and the Jets. Tom, it's Iron Eagle, Charles Davis, and Evan Washburn on CBS as your Cincinnati Bengals travel to Tennessee to take on the Tennessee Titans and the Bengals, 2.5-point road favorites.
I mean, it makes it sound surprising that I didn't pick the Bengals here to be my lock of the week. But here's the thing. You got to also give a little bit of respect, not a lot, but a little bit of respect to the Titans. They do lead the AFC South, as weak as that division is. They have played competitively. Derrick Henry is the star of that team, and Derrick Henry does continue to run. I was worried that this was going to be a season where he would, dip down a little bit. I don't really think he's dipped down. I think he's at least been pretty equal to what he has been in terms of him being, great. I think this, we run the risk that this could be a Joe Mixon versus Derrick Henry kind of thing. However, Joe Mixon, I think, is banged up because didn't Perrine have a breakout performance last week? Got like 30 fantasy points.
Yep.
So, and we're talking about the possibility that this might be the week that Jamar Chase returns. It might be. Not. It's a maybe. So there's too many questions for me to outright lock the Bengals. But you know what? Don't disrespect the Bengals. Take the money.
Yep. Kind of saw that one coming. Yeah.
I'm going to take the money as well because you know what? Other men might disrespect the Bengals, but I am not that man. I shall stand tall on the peak of the highest mountain in the world, and I shall say, respect the Bengals.
Oh, my God. How am I supposed to follow that one up? You know what? I was right about the Titans over the last couple of weeks. They beat the Packers, even though that's not saying much anymore. It used to be when you beat the Packers, that was like a whole big upset. Now you just have a fledgling $50 million quarterback who only cares about his girlfriend.
Hey, stink!
All he cares about is girlfriend and witches potions. But my point is that, I don't know, Jamar Chase was a major injury for them. They have no quarterback chemistry with Burrow. Burrow just does not look like himself. I'm disrespecting the Bengals. Titans in the upset.
Ooh.
Nice.
Look at you going with the upsets this week.
This is a tough one for me, but I also am going to go with the Bengals. Maybe not so much because of the reasons that two of the guys up on top of our screen said, but I really trust Joe Burrow. I think they've been going on a roll. Give me Cincinnati.
Yeah, Burrow's played a lot better lately. As long as his offensive line stays there, then as long as his offensive line protects them, then he's been playing better. It looks like Jamar Chase is going to be back. That's according to Burrow himself saying that. And I understand they're playing consecutive road games here, but you look at the Titans here, they're well rested. They haven't played since last Thursday against those Packers. And remember, the last time these guys played in the playoffs, Derrick Henry wasn't himself. Well, this year he's having a bounce-back year. I'm going along with Nick Morgasen. Upset special. Give me the Tennessee Titans over the Cincinnati Bengals. And sorry, Tom, I am going to disrespect the Bengals in this spot. I've been high on them all year. I have not been high on the Titans, but the Titans have proved me totally wrong this year. And I think a healthy Derrick Henry, which he wasn't really last year in their playoff rematch, I think is going to make a big difference in this spot. So give me the Titans in an upset special over the Bengals. Nick Fodera, I'm going to go to you next, and this is one of the more underrated games of the week. A very intriguing matchup here with Adam Amin, Mark Schlereth, and Christina Pink over there on Fox. The Atlanta Falcons travel to Washington to take on the Commanders, kind of a playoff game for both teams. They're still alive, and it's the Commanders who are laying 4.5 points at home.
First, I must say that the 4.5 point line is really as ringing an endorsement of Taylor Heineke as you can get. Considering how he's played to this point, and he has played very well. I do have some trepidations, but I do think that the Commanders can win this game. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take the money.
Yeah, I look at this game, and Washington. Not only has it been because of Heineke, but it's been because of their defense. How they've been able to turn this streak around, and this is a big spot for them as they go. They could go to 7-5 if they win this. Heineke's making timely plays. The Falcons, they're very limited on offense, which I think is a big difference here. And if it comes down to it, I know Arthur Smith's been a very good coach this year, considering the talent that they have. But give me the team with the better coach and the better quarterback, and that is Ron Rivera, Taylor Heineke, and the Commanders to win and cover against the Falcons.
I'm going to go upset special here and take the Falcons.
Wow.
Not a crazy thought.
I mean, I must be on some kind of something this week because I'm taking Falcons in the upset against the Commanders.
Hey!
Because I don't know. The Commanders, even though Heineke's been great, by the way, probably got one of the cheapest calls in all of primetime football history, ending because they should have swallowed the whistle on that roughing the passer call in that game, to be honest. There's no way you can end a game like that. And he was like Tom Brady out there begging for a flag after they almost missed a call. I like Mariota for some reason. He's been playing good this year. You can't say he hasn't been playing horrible. I mean, but I'm going to take the Falcons. I'm taking the shot on this one because the Commanders are not a given here.
The Commanders are not a given, and Mariota has played pretty well. Cordell Patterson's been decent enough. Kyle Pitts, however, injury out, going to be out for 4 weeks. Although Kyle Pitts also probably one of the biggest disappointments of this 2022 season. But I think the Commanders have a little more in them. Heineke has got some momentum to him. The NFC East is a pretty tough division. This is one I'm not big on. This is a game I'm not big on. This is a game I'm staying far away from in terms of betting. For a pick, however, it's not necessarily one I'd be willing to. I'd be more willing to take the upset in other games, but this one just doesn't motivate me enough. I say take the money.
Tom, I think this is actually one of, if not the toughest game to pick of the week. It is that close, and really the 4.5 points is actually a little high. I'd be more comfortable if this game, say, was like a field goal difference. But yeah, it's going to be close, and it would not surprise me if Atlanta, pulls us down and out because they've been in pretty much every game this season. So it wouldn't be surprising they pull it out, and maybe this even is a field goal game and Washington still wins, and at that point the Falcons would cover. So I wouldn't be surprised there. But then we go into the late window. It's Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins on CBS as the Los Angeles Chargers take on the Arizona Cardinals. And Hank Indictor, the Cardinals, the Cardinals are getting 4.5 points. So the Chargers 4.5 point road favorites.
I like that. Give me the Chargers. Obviously, got to take Justin Herbert there against the Cardinal team. It's pretty banged up.
Nick Morgasen?
Yeah, this is a mismatch. I think Kyler Murray's too busy playing Call of Duty. I would stick with the Chargers here and take the money.
Maybe he's been playing because he hasn't been on the field the last couple of weeks with the injury.
Well,
Yeah.
no, what is he? 0-3 since the release date?
He's like 0-2 or 0-3, and the Cardinals are like 2-1, which leads me to this.
Yeah, we were having fun with this on the stream the other night.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean the Cardinals are just an absolutely banged up team. I really have, even with the receivers that they have, even if Hollywood Brown truly is coming back and Kyler Murray truly is coming back, I know Herbert and the offensive struggles that the Chargers have had, but I don't have the faith in the Cardinals. I say take the money on this one, Chargers.
So as far as I go, I mean, I was there. I saw the Mexico City game. So you know what? I'm not going to take the evidence that it was piled up on my desk, and I'm not going to ignore it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the money.
Looks like Kyler is expected to, as of now, start there on Sunday. But at that point, give me the team with the better coach. Oh, no. Let me take that back. Forget the coach because both coaches stink to high heavens. Just give me the team with the better quarterback and the team that's getting healthier right now. That's the Chargers -4.5 over there in Arizona. Because my God, if I see Brandon Staley blow one more game for the Chargers, I am going to blow a fuse. It is unbelievable how much he's costing the Chargers this year. I know they've been injury plagued and stuff, but if they're fully healthy and stuff, the Chargers are a pretty good team. And by the way, I did take the Chargers +5, and they did cover. That was good. Probably should have won that game outright, but I digress. Chargers -4.5. That's the play here in Arizona. So we all picked that one, so we're good to go there. And then we also stay out west. It's a Greg Gumbel, Adam Archuleta, AJ Ross special on the NFL on CBS as the Las Vegas Raiders travel to the 12th man up there in Seattle to take on Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seahawks are 3.5-point home favorites. I will take this one here first. It's a bad combination for the Raiders. Seahawks are coming off their bye. Raiders playing the second straight road game. The Raiders have defensive issues, which will show up against the Seattle offense. And you know what? I think this is a prime spot here for Geno to have another good day. Seahawks win and cover up there in Seattle. Hank?
Yeah, I'm not trusting Oakland ever again. Give me Seattle. Or not Oakland, Vegas.
I agree.
Wow.
I wouldn't trust them if they were in Oakland, if they were in Calgary. I don't care where in the world they'd
Or if
be.
they were in Pluto.
Exactly right. Yes.
I wouldn't trust them in a hole to China.
I don't
Would you
trust
trust them
them
on a
over
boat?
here.
Would you
I
trust them
just
with a
don't
goat?
trust
Would
them
you trust
anywhere.
them?
I don't trust them anywhere.
I mean, this game is bad, and I would sum the Raiders up in one sound effect.
You suck.
Well,
You suck.
there we
There you
go.
go.
They're really bad. Devontae Adams has been a massive disappointment in a Raiders uniform. Derek Carr has been horrible. Not worth the contract.
To the point that Nick adds it that they are considering at the end of the season just basically letting him go.
That's a lot of money to let go, a lot of guaranteed money to let go, a lot of dead cap to let go. But the Seahawks have played way better than everyone expected. Take the money.
This was the other game I was considering for a lock of the week. But yeah, I don't think I can add to any more of this. The Raiders are absolute trash. Seahawks are having an unbelievable year. Geno Smith might be the comeback player of the year. Better offensive pieces. Gotta take the money on this one. Have to.
I am going to echo the points made by my esteemed colleagues on these 5 screens here and take the money.
There we go. Clean sweep all aboard up there in Seattle. It's Kevin, Greg, Aaron, and Tom once again there on the NFL on Fox as the Los Angeles Rams take on the Kansas City Chiefs. over there in Kansas City, and the Chiefs are 14.5-point favorites. Guys, let me just go here first, because if I was on your show, this would be my lock. This line could not be high enough. I love Kansas City.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You know why?
Whoa.
It's Bryce Perkins against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, so that's the other.
There's nothing else I need to say in this one. Chiefs win 40-10, maybe. And how do the Rams get to 10 with Perkins starting, with some guy I've never even heard of being possibly the backup?
No Cooper Kupp.
No Cooper Kupp. I mean,
yeah.
Where are the Rams getting 10? Maybe in a garbage time touchdown. Chiefs win and cover there in Kansas City. That's enough that needs to be said with this game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can avoid this game in general, because I think we all know where we're going with it. But the line is big, but the Chiefs, it's a mismatch at quarterback. So, yeah, I would take the money on this one.
Mismatch at quarterback? I know the Chiefs defense can be a little rough, but I mean, even the Rams defense has been one of the most major disappointments of this season. They have downgraded.
Well,
and
I get that, but I would say the quarterback mismatch is the biggest look
it's bigger. You're right. It's bigger. I'm just saying it's not the only one.
No.
The Rams are a complete you-know-what show. Darrell Henderson they just let go of. No Cooper Kupp they got to make the playoffs to even have the chance to see Cooper Kupp again. At this point, I just take the money, even on that kind of line.
Should do a double down on that line.
So thank you, Johnny, for reminding me that Bryce Perkins was going to start, because before you said that, I had not even heard of Bryce Perkins at all. I thought you just matched up two random names and just came up with it was a Madden creative player. But
or maybe he was thinking old baseball names like Bryce Harper and Glenn Perkins.
That poor But that poor SOB is going to be thrown into a meat grinder this Sunday. And you know what? I got to take the money. I'm sorry. But if it was anybody
What are you being sorry about? The matchup's horrible.
Yeah, I just don't know how it happens. I mean, now look, I know the Chiefs have not really covered at home this year, but I mean, we'll see. There's really not much else I need to say here, but Chiefs win and cover there in Kansas City. It's a Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, and Laura Oakman special. Oh, did I skip you, Hank?
Yeah, you didn't get to hear his pick.
I'm so excited to get to the next game.
What was your pick?
Go for it, Hank.
You knew Rams upset. No, Chiefs.
No backdoor cover for you? Oh, okay. I apologize there. I'm getting way ahead of myself.
You sneak you.
Just for that,
it's
Hank,
okay. Yeah, I'm kind of like getting antsy too, so I don't blame you.
It's all good. I will go to you here first for this one. It's a Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, Laura Oakman special there on the NFL on Fox. It's the New Orleans Saints traveling to San Francisco to take on Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners, and the 49ers laying 9.5.
Now that is a spread that I am also taking. 49ers, their offense is finding a rhythm. They are practically unstoppable. I say that they're probably the most dangerous team in the NFC, and that is a claim that I will stand by. Give me San Fran.
I mean, Hank and I had a conversation about this multiple times, about the Niners being dangerous, dark horse, possible Super Bowl underdog candidate. I think the Niners now with CMC in the mix, like that's a whole different team now. I mean, yeah, take the money. The Saints are garbage, in my opinion.
Yeah, we saw how good the 49ers can be in the Mexico City game. And you know what? Saints are okay, but just nothing compared to the 49ers. Take that money.
Well, thank God this week we won't have to say touchdown in any other language but English. So we won't have to look up the frantic to what the German word for touchdown is. So, I'm taking the money.
Oh my God!
Gosh, all this is making me root for the NFL to play in Paris in the next couple of years. You know, the Saints. I had to say this: the Saints are such a tricky team because they've had moments this year that they've actually looked very, very good, but the common theme in that is that they have played well at home. On the road, they are such a different team. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde team. Andy Dalton's Jekyll and Hyde. You know, at home he looks great, but on the road, remember that game on Thursday night a couple of weeks ago against the Cardinals where he had 3 interceptions, pick sixes on back-to-back possessions. I mean, the only thing that would scare me here is that the 49ers are playing on a short week here, but their offense is fully loaded. You guys had said that too. I think it stays here. I think the 49ers are going to win and cover. There's a lot of points to lay, but I will lay them with the 49ers there in San Francisco. Sunday Night Football on NBC. It's Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark as the Green Bay Packers take on the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles 6.5-point home favorites. And Tom, we'll go to you first.
I mean, guys, do you hear something? Aaron
Oh, wait.
Rodgers is big.
I think I hear it. I hear it. Wait.
RELAX.
So that's his philosophy. But you know what? I'm going to tell you to RELAX and just watch Philadelphia whoop some Green Bay behind because Green Bay is absolute trash. And Green Bay is going to end up finishing this season with a losing record. And it's because of matchups like this. Yeah, take the money in a big way.
Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Fun fact,
What did you say?
Go for
Aaron
it.
Rodgers has not lost in Philadelphia.
I don't
Could
care.
that change?
That ends this week, Hank. That ends
Yeah,
this week.
I'm just pointing that out.
I
I didn't say my prediction.
Go ahead, Hank. You go.
You know what? Upset special. I'm taking the Packers.
What?
Oh, wow.
Nope. This time I'm actually being serious. And you want to know why?
What?
Because you've been picking the same one so much. I wanted to spice it up.
Interesting.
Probably going to be taking a loss here, but you know what? Screw it. I don't care. Aaron Rodgers does not lose in Philadelphia. Give me the Pack.
Oh,
I'm going to meet Hank halfway. I'm going to meet you guys halfway on this one. 2 straight weeks now, the Eagles have not played that great, and they have not covered either game. I think this is another spot where they could win, but it could also be a close one. It could come down to a field goal spot. So I am going to grab the 6.5 with Green Bay. I think the Eagles win, but I think it's going to be very, very close.
yeah, with me, I think the Eagles scared me the last couple of weeks. I mean, the Colts game where they had a win on the last drive. What the hell are you doing? Almost losing to a Colts team that has no business being in the league right now with Jeff Saturday. I think the Eagles are mad, and I think they're going to destroy the Packers. Take the money.
Johnny, Hank, you guys are both nuts, so I'm taking the money.
Well,
No, Johnny took them. Johnny took them cover.
I took no. I'm taking the Eagles to win, but I'm grabbing the 6.5
Oh.
with Green Bay. I think it's going to be a kind of like a field goal kind of game in this spot.
You're nuts. Both of you are nuts.
What? Why?
Roastingly nuts.
Why?
I understand what Nick. I have no faith in that Packers team anymore.
Well, no, I want to hear. What do you have a specific reason, Nick? Why you think they're nuts?
Because everything we've seen with the Packers this year, why would you take the Packers? Why would you take the Eagles to not cover? I mean,
I'll tell you why. Look at the Eagles the last 2 weeks. Green Bay's has not played since last Thursday, so they've had 10 extra days. Look, I don't think the Packers are in any business to win. Don't get me wrong. They pretty much have to win out just to have a playoff chance, and that includes going to Philadelphia and going to Miami. So I don't think the Packers are talented enough to win, but I think they keep it close, and I think it's even more so on how the Eagles have played the last couple of weeks.
I mean, Minnesota's already ran away with the division. I mean, so they're not going anywhere near that. So they're going to have to get in via wild card if they even want to get in.
I can't see the Packers winning this, but at the same time, this league is so unpredictable. I mean, Hank's not crazy to think the Packers can win this game outright. This league's so difficult to figure out. Heck, Nick Morgasen might be right in the fact that the Bears might beat the Jets. I mean, it's really been that kind of year. So
I mean, how many non-spreads have we had this year? I mean, like that have not been covered? A ton.
Look, I mean, we are 11 weeks into the season. I know we got one more game, and I'm still under 5. Hank and I are still under 500 for the year. We have 8 pushes in picks this year. It's been that kind of year. And how many games have we picked that we've been right on, but the team is not covered?
That's what I was going to say. And actually, for the first time on ETB in 11 weeks, none of us hit a lock. That's how many weeks it took.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll find out. But we have one more game to pick. And it's on Monday Night Football with Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and Lisa Salters on ESPN as the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Indianapolis to take on Jeff Saturday's Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts are 2.5-point home favorites.
This is bad. This is bad football. How did this end up in Monday Night Football?
Because the lottery or whatever kind of system the schedule makers.
Well, is it true that
Probably
ESPN?
thought that both teams would be better, but obviously that's not the case.
But is it true ESPN starting next year gets a flex package? If I'm not mistaken, I thought I heard that.
They should.
I think it's part of their new contract they negotiated. They have flex power next year.
Yeah, it's possible.
But this game is bad. I mean, the Steelers are bad. Would you be shocked if most people said the Colts were better in this matchup? I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going to do a coin flip and just take the Steelers.
Coin flip.
Oh, wait, I have a coin right here.
Well, the coin flip is determining the Jets season by way of that one person on Twitter.
That's a good point.
So, Hank, you're taking the Steelers?
Yep.
I think TJ Watt being back helps the Steelers defensively. I think up front they can they can challenge the Colts in this spot. Upset special. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game outright. I'm with Hank here. I like Pittsburgh outright to win this game.
Really, this game is horrible. I'm jumping on the train. I'm taking the Steelers in an upset.
So far we're all going upset?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Oh, there's Jim Irsay at my door.
Right. You know what?
All right, Jim.
Hide your quarterback. Make sure he's okay.
You know what? Yeah, fine. Let's do it. Let's do one upset together. We'll all do it. Why not?
Well,
Steelers.
upset.
All right.
5 upsets across the board.
Wait, all 5 of us are going upset?
Yep.
Oh, we needed one of those. And that will put a bow on week 12 of the NFL season, and we will see what happens here. I was looking ahead to week 13. A lot of good matchups for week 13. So Hank and I will be back on Tuesday for Game On, episode 34. It could be good to be back in the flow there. We'll be back also next Friday for our Football Friday picks. Of course, you can catch Nick, Tom, and Nick over on Empty the Bench on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern here on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. And, of course, Nick and Nick on Beyond the Bench as well. So this was a lot of fun. Nick, Tom, Nick, thanks for joining us for a little bit of a crossover.
Thanks for having me on.
Don't forget Tom with MMA Outsiders also.
Of course, Tom has MMA Outsiders with Zan. That's always a great show and a must-watch every single week. So check out for that. And, of course, my Monty Moments on college football, which is coming down the stretch. You know, this time next week, we'll be talking about conference championships. It's crazy to think it is coming down the stretch. Bowl schedules, the announcing crews for the bowl schedules have already come out. So a lot to be decided about there. We'll have a lot more about that next week as well. So it is coming down the stretch, guys. I mean, we're already through Thanksgiving. You guys all have a safe, happy, and healthy Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep, looking forward to it. Hopefully we don't fall on the tryptophan.
I can't help myself. I'm going to.
Everyone,
That's why Kirk Cousins in prime time was going to be okay this week.
Are the 4 of you going to need it for that giant Cowboy game?
We'll see.
Everyone enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday. Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And be safe, be happy, enjoy it all. And so for Nick Morgasen, Tom Albano, Nick Fodera, and Hank Indictor, I'm Johnny Montalbano. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you again next week.